All right, Kathleen, we will get started. All right, so good afternoon to everyone and welcome to Public Health Education Series, Wazooki Wo Ehi, Family Conversations. I'm Jamie Decora, Public Health Worker Supervisor, joined by Renelle McKernan, the Public Health Nurse, who will help me moderate today's session. The goal of the series is to gather, learn, and share about Ho-Chunk culture, resources, services, and the connection to health. In public health, we focus on prevention, promotion, and protection of the health and well-being of our communities. Health and well-being are rooted in many aspects of our lives, from our physical body, our mental health, our spirit, the environment we live in, and much more. During these sessions, we will explore topics that can impact our health and well-being. Together, we will learn about tools and resources to improve our health and the health of our communities. Today, we are joined by Kathleen Clemons, exercise physiologist, who will teach us. We have snow excuses. We can stay active in the winter. And what a perfect wintry day for this. We will have about 45 minutes for Kathleen's presentation, followed by a Q&A. Please use the chat function to enter any comments or questions for our presenter, and Vernell and I will monitor the chat throughout the presentation and read for her at the end. You can also raise your hand and come off mute during Q&A and ask the questions out loud. Any questions that we don't have time for, we will follow up with Kathleen and email responses back to the group. As a reminder, these sessions are being recorded and will be posted on the Department of Health website and Facebook page. Everyone, please welcome Kathleen.
Hi everybody, thanks for being here today. I do appreciate you being here. So Jamie and Renelle, they asked me to talk to you guys about staying active in winter, and that certainly is a challenge for a lot of people. What I find that once daylight savings hits, that it's really a struggle for people to get their activity in. And so hopefully today I can give you just a lot of tips and tools that you can use to help you stay active. And the reason, and I'm going to give you a lot of reasons why to stay active. There'll be a couple times I'll come in and out and just ask if you guys have any comments on anything. If you don't want to come off mute, that's totally fine. You can put it in the chat. So I tend to, when I'm presenting, I tend to share and pop out and in. So the other thing that I want to say with this specific presentation, I did give a couple more tips with regards to diabetes, just because we do have a lot of people that have diabetes within the tribe, so I did add a couple extra tips with that. So without further ado, we're going to get started. And just to let you know that every 15 minutes, I have people get up and do a little stretch. I don't think it will take 45 minutes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. So I'm going to share my screen. Share. And let's go with here. So I'm going to go there. And I'm going to swap that. All right, hopefully everybody can see that. I'm going to move you guys to the side here. So we did come up with the title of this with snow excuses. So what we are going to chat about, this always happens to me when I'm trying to advance my slide here. Here we go. All right, so why should I stay active in winter? Can't I just hibernate? How much should you do? Coping on cold, dark days. I'm going to talk to you about equipment and clothes, and then, what are some of your options. Now, before I actually get more into this is a book that I really want to recommend to people. I came across this book. Maybe you've seen some of the flyers coming across that I'm doing a nature and health series. And this was a book that I came across when I was doing some research for that. And it's called How to Winter. I think that for anybody that lives in Wisconsin or in these climates, this is a must read. So the rest of the title is Harness Your Mindset to Thrive on Cold, Dark, or Difficult Days. So I really like this book a lot. You can always check it out at a library, but I would really highly recommend this book to everybody. Okay, so. All right, so why should I stay active? Well, in as little as 2 days without activity, you will actually start to see your blood sugar start to rise. Okay, so again, this is kind of getting a little more specific with diabetes, but exercise helps improve your insulin sensitivity, and that is going to help your cells take up blood sugar. And this is going to happen in you whether you have diabetes or not. Okay, so this is an important thing. This is just something that happens with everybody. And your muscle atrophy, that starts fast. That can start within a week, right? So that is just the shrinking of your muscles. And that is, you know, if you've ever been in the hospital, this is why they get you up so quickly when you're in the hospital after a surgery or something, because your muscles start to atrophy really fast. And again, this is going to happen with everybody. So it's really important to stay active on a regular basis so that we're not having those things happen to us. All right, so the average weight gain during the holidays, over the holidays, is about 5 pounds. All right, so if we gain that weight, that in turn is going to worsen your blood sugar control, but it's also going to impact your clothes fitting. 5 pounds, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really can impact the way that your clothes fit, the way that you're feeling, just kind of feeling a little bit more sluggish. That can impact your blood pressure. So when we're even gaining a little bit of weight, that certainly can impact our health. And then, so why else do you guys think that we should stay active in winter? So I want to know what your thoughts are. And this is one of those times I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop out and see if anybody has anything that they would like to share. Okay. So what are your thoughts? Why should you stay active in winter? Besides those couple things, blood sugar rising, weight gain?
For my depression and anxiety.
Okay,
Man, oh, man.
depression and anxiety.
Yeah. Lena's
got
health. Yes.
Yep, mental health for sure. Okay. Anything else?
It just keeps you going.
Just hey Ryan. Yeah, it does. It does keep you going for sure. Yep. Because the more that you're not active, it's kind of a catch-22. It's like you can be feeling tired and so you don't want to be active, but the more you do that, the more tired you get. So when you're active on a regular basis, there are actually enzyme changes and a lot of changes physiologically in your body that help you use your energy more efficiently and produce energy. So when you are just like being a couch potato, that can really lead you to want to be more of a couch potato, if that makes sense. So it does keep you going. So thanks for sharing that, Ryan. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead back to Sharon here. All right. This always happens to me when I'm doing PowerPoints. There we go. All right. So how much physical activity should I do? Well, the minimum guidelines are 150 minutes or more of cardio exercise. So that would be something like walking and biking, swimming, chair aerobics. If we're talking about winter, that could be your snowshoeing, your cross-country skiing, those type of things. So that is cardio exercise. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. So it could be 30 or more minutes altogether, spread throughout the day or the week. So you could do 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week to get that 150 minutes in. Or you could do 3 10-minute bouts 5 days a week. Right? So there's all sorts of ways to get that 150 minutes of physical activity in. And sometimes people don't think that, oh, 10 minutes, that's not going to do anything for me. And I'm going to show you that it actually does impact you quite a bit. So people with diabetes or prediabetes should be active daily for blood sugar regulation. And really the bare minimum is every other day. So with any habit that you're trying to add to your life, I do recommend that you do it every other day, because if you go more than 2 days without doing something like physical activity, it gets easier and easier to skip it. Okay, so at least every other day. Now the other thing to do is 2 days of strength training. So that's not included in the 150 minutes. That is actually a separate workout. So it's 150 minutes of cardio exercise and 2 days of strength training. And it's important to know that exercise doesn't have to be hard and strenuous for it to be beneficial. Movement, any kind of movement is good for you. And as far as intensity goes, there's all sorts of ways to figure out intensity. The best way really is, figuring out your target heart rate and going with that. But that can be complicated for some people. You would just need to, contact one of the exercise physiologists, and I certainly could help you out with that. But in general, I just start people with talk test intensity. That means that you can carry on a conversation while you're exercising but it shouldn't be so easy that you're out there singing a song. Okay, so talk test intensity. All right, so with activity, more can be better. Definitely, if you can do more than 150 minutes, you're going to get more benefits from that. You're going to burn more calories. It's probably going to be a little bit easier for you to manage your weight. You're probably going to feel a little bit better. But it's really important to note that something is better than nothing, and even 10 minutes is better than doing nothing. All right, and just to prove this point to you, this was a little study I did a few years back in my office. I had people come in with diabetes or pre-diabetes, and they self-selected their paces, and I had them walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. We checked their blood sugar before, and we checked it afterwards. And these are the results that we got after just 10 minutes of physical activity. So this person, they walked a little bit brisk, 3 miles per hour and 2% elevation. So we were 174 and 146 afterwards. All right, so this next person walked 1.7 to 2.0 miles per hour, that's considered fairly light exercise. But look at the drop that we got there, 208 and 172. Probably the biggest drop we got was 3.7. That's kind of moving pretty well here, but this person almost dropped 100 points in just 10 minutes. Okay, and then I think important here, 1.5 mile per hour of walking. They were 219 before, and they were 184 afterwards. So when you don't think that 10 minutes isn't going to matter, it does matter, you guys. This is proof. This is why I actually did this, to prove a point that 10 minutes will matter to you. So don't think that it doesn't. All right, so a little bit about coping on cold, dark days. So just a lot of this is going to come from this book that I told you about, but some of it is just personal experience and being an exercise physiologist, living in a winter climate. I've been here 20 years. For those of you that don't know how long I've been with the tribe, I've been here for a while. So it's really important to go outside when you can. So staying away from fresh air and sunlight is not going to make you feel good. Now, it is really hard when we go these days and we don't see any sun for a few days. I'm not going to lie to you, that is really difficult. But still get outside, breathe in that fresh air. Don't skip your exercise. That is really important. And I think a big tip is go to the gym before you go home, or work out at home before you start something. If you go home and you sit down, most of the time you're just going to be toast. It's really hard sometimes to motivate yourself to get back up. So here in Black River Falls, we're fortunate. You could leave, the facilities here in Black River Falls. You could go right over to Lunda Center, or you could go over to the District 1 Community Center. Every community is going to be different. So if you don't have those resources like we have here, then you certainly could go home and you could do a small workout. And I'm going to show you something that it will be hopefully beneficial for you that you could use at home to get a workout in. All right, so another thing is enjoy your favorite hot beverage in moderation. This is especially important for those that have with diabetes, or for those who are trying to lose or keep weight stable. I mean, this time of year, those lattes and those things, those are really popular, but they can be loaded with calories. So there are ways to cut the calories down in those things, like getting sugar-free beverages or those things. But they can have 400 or 500 calories in those drinks. So it's something to be aware of. All right, some other coping mechanisms here. Read some books that you've been putting off. Okay, so what are the books that you want to read? Have a pity party. I think that's all right, but have a pity party for a day, and that's it. Get up the next day and get moving. Now the next day you could still have a pity party too, but at least don't have a pity party lots of days in a row. And I do call it that because I'm not trying to be judgy or anything, but sometimes it's okay to just like, hey, things suck right now. I'm just going to have a pity party. That's totally fine. But do what comforts you. That's completely okay. The other thing is do some good deeds. It's good for you, and it's good for the other person or the animal that's receiving your goodness. Okay, so have you ever done random acts of kindness? Well, if you're at McDonald's, just using McDonald's, and you have the financial resources to do so, pay for the person behind you. you know, or at Quick Trip or wherever you are. Random acts of kindness can really make you feel better about yourself, but also the person that you're helping to. All right, and then take vitamin D. It is really well accepted to take extra vitamin D in the winter. A lot of times I see the blood tests that are coming through, and a lot of people really are deficient in vitamin D that are living in this climate where we aren't getting the sun for large parts of the season. So taking vitamin D is perfectly fine. All right, then the other thing is improve your lighting in your home. So use bright lights in your home or in your office to boost your mood. Use a therapy light if needed. There's tons of them that are out. Like if you look on Amazon, there's tons of therapy lights. I would not spend a lot of money on one. I would just get one, and you actually don't shine it on yourself all day long. You only do that for maybe 20 minutes, and that can really help boost your mood. And then mood lighting is okay too. So maybe you have an area in your house where you have twinkle lights or you have low lighting, and that's comforting to you. So that's something that you can do as well. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go to my next slide, but I'm going to stop sharing, and it is time to stretch. So let's go ahead and get our stretch in. Does anybody have any questions? Or answers? Does anybody have any answers to life they want to give us while we're here?
Does it matter the color of the lighting that you use in your room?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. So when you're using those therapy lights, they are usually a certain kind of lumens. They tend to be really bright. That's a really good question that I would have to research more, but I do know that blue light at night, which is on our screens, that can keep you awake. Okay, so it's not recommended for sleeping to be scrolling on your phone and your computer right before you go to bed, because that tends to not let you release melatonin, which helps you go to sleep. Okay, so but then also red lights will actually make you sleepy. So it's kind of all in between there. It really kind of depends on what you're wanting to do. But really, those therapy lights, most of the time I see those, they're going to be the bright lights. And again, you're not using them all day long. You're only using them for, like I said, 15, 20 minutes a day. So I can certainly research that a little bit more, Jamie. But that's what I know about that light, red light, and blue light. Has everybody heard about the blue light effect impacting you? And you can put a thumbs up or something in your reactions or in the chat. Okay, so Jamie has, and Lena has. Yep.
I got blue light glasses, like the blocks. It makes a huge difference on the strain in your eyes, especially for those of us who sit in front of a computer for 8 hours a day.
Okay. And where did you get those at?
I'm a cheapskate, and I order them off Zenny.
Okay.
For my whole glasses. I think it was like $30, something like that.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, if you're sitting in front of the computer all day long, that the eye strain can be a thing. So using tools that are going to help you is a good thing. All right, I'm going to go back to Sharon again. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so what are your options to stay active in winter? Okay, I'm going to talk about winter stuff here in just a second, but I will tell you that, if winter activity is just not your thing, that's okay, you guys. Okay, that's okay. It's totally valid. You know you, and you're the expert in your life. All right, so if you don't like it, there are all sorts of other options that you can do, and so that's what I'm going to go over first here. All right, so you could join a gym. And I'm going to use Lunda Center here, just or D1 here, because that's what we have in this particular community. D1 is free for employees, so if you haven't gone over there, you can always make an appointment with me, and I can show you around over District 1. I can also show you around at Lunda Center as well. What I like about Lunda Center is that they have They have monthly memberships, 3-month memberships, 6-month memberships. So maybe you just need a little bit of help right now to get you through the winter. So I do have a lot of times people this time of year will just get a 6-month membership. And if you are a tribal member, you can get reimbursed for that. If you're a Ho Chunk tribal member, you can get reimbursed for it. You just have to fill out some paperwork and you can get your money back. You do have to pay for it up front, but you can get reimbursed. We still have that program in place. All right, you could purchase home equipment or equipment for home use. If you feel like that's too expensive, look at garage sales or the marketplace for equipment. Okay, that's where I have gotten a lot of my equipment. I got almost a pretty much brand new recumbent bike. I got it for $65. The people had only used it 3 times, and that's one of my go-tos in the winter. It's very portable, so I can bring it in and just plop it in front of the TV and get some biking in. Okay, so you could use home equipment. You can purchase dumbbells or exertube, which is just the elastic tubing for strength training. And especially like with dumbbells, you could go to a thrift store like the Salvation Army for low prices. I've also heard, I've never been in a Five Below, but I've also heard that Five Below has really inexpensive dumbbells. So, you know, sometimes obviously cost can be prohibitive for some people. And so there are just other options that you can use for yourself or that you could get for cheap for yourself. And then the other thing is try exercise videos. So if there is some kind of a workout that you want to do, I can guarantee you all you got to do is Google it. Just put in, I want to do chair exercise for seniors, and hit that. And you're going to come up with a lot of free YouTube videos. You might get ads in them, you know, but you just wait for those to go by. But there's, so People Play used to be your go-to. Okay, so People Play. All right, and I'm going to show you what my go-to is. I have to thank Stacy Decora for this, because Stacy Decora told me about this app a long time ago, and this is what I use, and this is what I recommend. So I'm just going to escape out of here for just a second, hopefully. All right, and I'm going to go right here. All right, so this is an app. It is called Fit On. So the little symbol looks like a little purple tornado. Now I did purchase a premium membership for myself, but I will tell you that this is the first year I actually did it. I wanted to see how really it was different than the free version. And so far I really haven't found much that's different with the free version. In the free version, even when I have clicked on workouts, which I'll click on here in just a second, there's tons of things that you can do. So I'm going to show you just a couple of my go-tos, especially for strength training. So if I click on workouts, here's all the categories that I'm going to get. Okay, so what's hot and new? We've got stretching, we have senior fit, we have yoga, meditation. So that's why I really like this app, because there's meditation in here in addition to all the other things that you might want to do. There's some self-defense. So I haven't obviously done all these workouts, because I'm going to show you here. If I click on strength, so like I said, this is my go-to for strength training. If I click on strength, these are all the workouts that I'm going to get in my strength training. Okay, so I've got tons of workouts that I can do, and I can tell you that I don't see much difference in the premium version versus the free version. These were always in there. So one of the ones, these are 2 of my go-tos, is 5-minute arms and the 10-minute arm challenge. I can tell you that this, either of them are very effective. Okay, and so like I showed you, if you have just 10 minutes, that can help you. But this 10-minute arm challenge, you're going non-stop. So I would say that if you were to do the 10-minute arm challenge, don't even use any weights to begin with. I would just go through the range of motion and do this one. I have to say this guy's probably my favorite instructor. His name is Kenta, so I really do like him. But you can just look and see how many workouts there are in this particular app. So that is called Fit On, and that's what I would recommend to you guys. All right, let's go back here. I'll pop back out here in just a second. But All right. All right, so remember, oh, okay. I was like, you muted me, how are they going to hear me? All right, so remember, you don't even need equipment to move your body. You can get a good workout marching or jogging in place and using your own body weight for resistance. So if you needed, you know, a body weight workout, I can help you guys with that. So the exercise physiologist, we are here to help you. We all have fitness software that we can put a program together for you, but, you know, doing some stand-up sit-downs, doing some wall push-ups, those type of things. You don't need any equipment for those, and those can be really effective for you. Okay, so sometimes I've had people that every time there was a commercial on TV, they would get up and they would march in place. Okay, so that's another way that you can get your physical activity in. All right, so we can't beat winter, so you might as well join it. Okay, and again, this is not for everybody, but I'm so happy that we have snow. Like, people are probably like miserable that we have snow, but a lot of people might be. But I'm so happy that we have snow because I'm on a coalition, and we plan winter activities. In the last 2 years, we haven't been they've just been hikes because we haven't had any snow. So when I'm off work today, I'm going to go snowshoe because I'm super happy that we actually have some snow. All right, so some things that you can do is snowshoeing. Now, I will tell you that snowshoeing is a good workout. It's strenuous. If you've never been, I wouldn't go out for very long, okay? Maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most. Don't go real far out and back because it is a little bit of a harder workout. You could go skiing, you could go tubing, you can go walking, and I'm going to talk about clothing here in just a second, or you could do something like ice skating, or you could play hockey, whatever those type of things are that you like to do. I mean, if you don't like the ice skating and the hockey, like I said, you simply can just go walking. So this is at one of our events here a few years ago. This is out at Lake Wazee. There's a lot of trails out there, and they groom them for us for the Jackson in Action events. And I don't know if anybody knows Diane Rave. That's Diane. She doesn't know that she's in this presentation, but she knows that she has a picture on my phone. So all right, so you're not sure if you want to commit to buying things. Well, you could try renting equipment before you buy. And I do have snowshoes to check out, and Lunda Center does as well, and that is for free. Okay, so you can check out snowshoes for up to a week with me. So you just got to shoot me an email. Oh, she does now. Nice. Hey, Diane. Okay. All right, so we're going to just take a quick stretch break again. So here we go. I'm just going to get a sip of water. All right, so my next slide is just another slide that's going to be on some precautions for people with diabetes. I do want to say that people with diabetes who have peripheral neuropathy, which is numbness, tingling, or no feeling in the feet or the hands, you have to be really mindful of dressing right so you don't get frostbite. Because most of the time when our feet are getting too cold, we get those nerves telling us, hey, we're getting cold. But if you have neuropathy, you're not going to get those signals. So it's really important to be really careful. You might not be able to feel those warning signs. And also this time of year too, same thing goes like with campfires. If you're around campfires or fires, putting your feet up there to get warm, that can be actually really dangerous as well. So just be really careful if you have diabetes. Okay. All right, so let's talk about dressing right from head to toe. So is it bad weather or is it bad clothing? You know, which one is it? You know, it certainly could be both. Like last night, I wouldn't recommend going out last night. It was better to be home and safe. Okay, so, but it's important probably this time of year to have these type of clothes in your car just in case you were to get stranded. But the main thing is, especially if you're doing something like snowshoeing, is to dress in layers. If you get too hot, you can sweat, and that is going to make you colder, right? So you want to be able to shed layers so that you don't get too cold. You want to wear clothes that wick, and that is just a technical term of fibers that move sweat away from your body, and they move it away from your body, so you're not sitting there getting saturated with the sweat. So it's real important to not wear cotton shirts as your undershirt. That type of material is going to trap moisture, and it is going to make you colder, right? So don't wear those type of shirts, a cotton long sleeve shirt, if you are going to go out and do some winter activity. Okay, wear something that wicks. So like Under Armour, I mean, these are our brands that we have here for our particular department. I wouldn't say you necessarily have to get Under Armour. There's perfectly good clothing at Walmart. They've got really nice, inexpensive things. Probably one of my new favorite stores is Sierra. That's down in La Crosse, and that is all like outdoor gear, but it is like a TJ Maxx. In fact, it's right next to TJ Maxx if you're in La Crosse. So Sierra's got a lot of really nice clothes, and I've been able to get a lot of stuff from there pretty cheap. All right. So generally it's recommended to use 3 layers, and I can really attest to that. That's pretty much what I do. You're going to want an inner layer of non-absorbing clothing that wicks the moisture from your skin where it can evaporate, which I just talked about. A middle layer of fleece or wool that insulates really well, and it still wicks. So you'll find that if you wear like a tee like this and you wear fleece underneath, you'll see that the fleece will get a little bit wet because that moisture is going on to the fleece, but that tends to not get you too cold. And then it's just an outer layer that the moisture that lets the moisture escape while repelling environmental conditions such as snow and rain. Okay, so that's going to be your 3 layers. Wear a good hat. 50% of heat loss can come from your head. Wear a hat that's water and wind resistant. It can be a good idea to wear a full head covering that you can pull up over your mouth and your nose, or you could wear your hat and you could have a gaiter and then pull that up. So I use a lot of gaiters during the winter time. Those can be really helpful. Gloves, I can tell you, probably for me personally, this has been the thing I've had probably the most trouble with is finding good gloves, because my hands do tend to sweat, and so I found actually that mittens tend to work a little bit better for me. With the mittens too, sometimes you can get them where you can put those hot hands in them, and that can help keep you a little bit warmer. But I definitely have had trouble with gloves. I've had better luck with the mittens. All right, as far as your socks and your shoes, you want to wear waterproof shoes and boots for exercising. Make sure your boots are not too tight. And then we want wicking socks. So usually wool is going to be popular this time of year, so like the smart wool. And again, I'll send you to Sierra because they've got really nice socks there that are like Columbia socks and things like that are really discounted. I just got, I think it was 3 or 4 pairs of Columbia socks, and it was like $12. So they were fairly inexpensive at Sierra. Right, you're gonna want traction devices for your shoes. Okay, so I'm gonna move you guys over here. So these type of things like Yak Tracks, or I've more so gone away from the Yak Tracks. Not that they're bad products or anything, but I usually get something that's a little bit more of just a spike, and I put those on my shoes. This type of thing, you certainly can use that. I probably would like kill myself with this because I'm a klutz, so I'd probably like cut my leg off with something like this. But this is something that you could use if you're not like me. All right, and then sunglasses. So you can damage your eyes from snow glare. They can fog up though, so you could buy no fog glasses, or they actually have wipes that you can put on your glasses and they won't fog up. So that can be helpful as well. All right, and then I'm noticing that I don't have the bottoms, the bottoms part of your body. So I've pretty much just talked about the top layer. So for your bottom layer, what you would want is you could have some leggings that are probably fleece. Those are really nice. They have those at Walmart. So more of a thicker type of legging, and then you could wear snow pants or just kind of a shell material for the outside. I will tell you that if you are going to snowshoe, do not wear jeans. Okay, the snow kicks up. That's why this like shell material or the snow pants are going to be a lot more beneficial, because the snow will just go right off of it. If you wear jeans, that snow is going to stick to it and your legs are going to freeze. So don't wear jeans. That is a big thing I want to warn you about. All right, then is our skincare. It's really important to wear a good moisturizing sunscreen on your face and all over your body to protect yourself from the sun, the wind, and the cold. And then also wearing lip balms so that your lips don't dry out. So those are a couple things, not only what we're wearing, but also what we're putting on our skin as well. Hey, staying hydrated. It's really easy in winter to skip the water or other beverages. So every breath that you take, when you see the smoke, when it's cold out, that's moisture that is being lost from your body. So you'll see, a lot of times you'll see, oh, you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. That actually is based on nothing. Over the years, I've realized a lot of things that we've told people over the years, they're based on actually nothing. So really the recommendation is to drink half of your weight in ounces. All right, so if you weigh 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces of fluids. And things like coffee and tea, they do count. Just know that coffee and tea, they can have caffeine in them, and that can make you urinate a little bit more. So you want to be careful with the caffeinated beverages, but they certainly do count towards the ounces that you need to have to meet your goals. All right, slow down this time of year when running errands. If you move too fast and you don't pay attention to icy conditions, you can fall. I'm super good at falling, so I have learned a lot of things the hard way. So I could just tell you, just be really safe and slow down. Okay, so get out and enjoy. There's actually a lot of snowshoe events that go on. So this was a few years ago. This was up in, it was up by Medford. But they do have snowshoe races. So there are specific snowshoes that you use for running and racing. But snowshoe racing is actually, it's quite competitive. And actually the championships are going to be actually here in Wisconsin in a few weeks. But you can run in the snowshoes, you can walk, but these are some people at that same event, they were out there playing volleyball. So the more you get out and move, you're going to warm up. So that's an important thing about being out in winter. And then really winter can be a beautiful time of year. If you dress right, I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to be warm. And honestly, with snowshoeing, it's really easy to get too warm. Okay, so these are another a couple pictures that are from Lake Wazee. So I really we have a lot of really great places to be active around here, and we have parks, we have state parks. So I encourage you to get out and check those things out this year. So I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna come out and see if we have any questions. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I chatted about? Or comments?
Kathleen, if Ho-Chunk tribal members are looking to get reimbursement for gym memberships, who do they contact for that paperwork?
They would contact Lorraine Hopinka, and she is here in Community Health. She is our administrative assistant here. All right, so I like to be interactive when I'm doing presentations. So tell me what your guys' thoughts are about staying active in winter. What are your thoughts?
It's easier than I ever thought it would have been, I guess. You can do little things and you can still do things inside of your home, because I don't like cold weather and I don't do outside in the winter.
Okay.
But it was nice hearing that there's actually quite a bit that I can do inside.
Yep. And for those of you that aren't, I have a fitness class list. Okay, so, and I send out weekly what I'm doing, and what I've started back doing again was I call them fitness quickies. So they are, it's virtual. So I send a link out, and all you got to do is click on that, and that is going to be, they're on right now they're on Thursdays. I had to switch this week because I have a conflict, but I am doing the fitness quickie this Friday. So if you want something, you need somebody to follow, just shoot me an email, you guys, and I can add you to that fitness class list. And you could join our fitness quickies. What does anybody else think
Kathleen,
about?
can you?
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Could you explain about the water? How much you need to drink?
Yeah, so you would just take your weight in pounds and divide it by 2. And that's how many ounces that you would need to drink. That's the recommendation. I'm going to use an extreme example. So let's just say we use you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day, and somebody weighs 400 pounds. Okay, that's not going to be enough fluid for that particular person. Now that's an extreme example that I'm giving you, but you know, it's like I said, that science is based on nothing. And even actually the 10,000 steps recommendation that's out there, it's not really based on any solid science. It was just a recommendation. I believe that was put out by the Japanese, and you know, people just kind of went with it. I'm not saying 10,000 steps is a bad thing. You know, can be a really good activity goal, but when I'm working with people and they have not been active at all, I'm not going to tell somebody to shoot for 10,000 steps. We're going to first see where you're at. Maybe you're only at 3,000 steps per day. That's what you're taking. So then the goal is going to be 4,000 steps. Then it's going to be 5,000 steps. Okay, so sometimes some of the recommendations that are out there, and it's hard because we've been promoting that stuff for years, and when you realize that it's not really based on much, you know, that's why you have exercise physiologists here. You know, we're here to help you with that. Does that make sense, Deborah, what I told you? You can give me a thumbs up. I know you came off mute and then you're back on mute.
Yeah, it made sense.
Okay. Sorry if I didn't explain it well enough. Thanks for asking that and for clarification. All right, you guys, what else? What does anybody else think? Are you going to try something? I want to hear from 2 more people. I'm just going to stare at you uncomfortably.
I got new of those yak track things. I'm gonna try those this year. I just got them like probably about last month.
Okay, good. Yeah, yak tracks. I have promoted those a lot over the year. I just have, you know, trying different things, but yak tracks work really well. All right, I'm going to pick on Ryan. So Ryan, what are you going to do this winter to stay active? See if he's listening. There he is. I can't hear you. Can you put it in the chat? Okay, so I'll just finish up with saying that just like the events, like there's 5Ks and there's different things like that. Her staff's making him run on a wheel. Okay. I will tell you that is my least favorite thing to do is run on a treadmill. Ugh. If that's the only way that I can really like understand how people hate exercise is if I had to run on a treadmill. That would be the only thing I could do. I could see how that would be really frustrating. All right, so I got a few things in the chat. Thanks everybody for whoops. All right, so Claudia liked all the suggestions. I also end up shoveling a lot during the winter months, but exactly the most fun, but it keeps you active for sure. So shoveling. So when you're talking about those 150 minutes, you guys, shoveling and pushing a snowblower, those things are going to count. Okay, so the one thing I will say about going out is probably just warm up a little bit before you're gonna snow shovel or before you go and push that snow blower. So march in place for a couple minutes, let your body get a little bit warmed up, because it can be quite a shock to do, because those are strenuous activities. So it's a little bit safer for you, just like we would say warm up for any type of exercise that you're going to do. It's important to just warm up a little bit before you go out and do those activities. Okay, so so Nadine wears layered clothing and truly enjoys being outside. I didn't feel like coming in so I could build some snow. So nice. Yeah, it's good snowman weather. So Ryan's just getting back to it. So yeah, injuries can definitely set us back, but you know, there's always usually something that we can do. So again, if you're struggling with your physical activity, hit one of us up. And then Nadine did a little shoveling and thinks you're beyond the shoveling age. I disagree. Okay, so I think that we get older when we stop doing those things. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you had shoulder injuries or something like that, I'm not going to say, get out there and shovel, you know, but really doing those type of things as we age, that helps us stay fit and strong, you guys. It's important to, you know, we have biological age and we have, what is it? I don't know. It's the age that we actually are, and it's the age that you think you are. Okay, they're very different things. So don't let age stop you. Okay, so stay as active as you can, because that's important part of aging well. All right, and then wait, what? All this time I just got a snowblower and it would have counted. Yeah, I was out at 5:30 this morning snow blowing. My dog is recovering from ACL surgery, so he's got to have paths to go around. So I was out this morning, and it's definitely a very good workout. So yeah, pushing that snowblower, it's walking, you guys. That's basically what it is, so that's going to count. Okay, yeah, it can lead you quite achy, and part of it too with winter activity. Let's just think about it. Do we shovel on a regular basis? We're usually not shoveling on a regular basis. So just like if you were to just all of a sudden, I just want to do squats. Okay, so you go and you do a bunch of squats and then you're sore the next day. That's what I would expect, because that's unaccustomed exercise. So our shoveling and all those kind of things, they can make us sore just because we're not used to it. So that usually will get better. Strength training can definitely help you, but I get that things get achy. I mean, I have arthritis and stuff, so I get the achy thing. So for someone just starting out, what is a good goal for minutes per week to exercise? All right, so here's the thing. You're the expert in your life. So when I'm working with people, I'm going to tell them what the guidelines are, and then you're going to tell me what you can do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So if you tell me, all right, I'm going to do 60 minutes this week, that's going to be your goal. Okay, so if I'm setting someone up on an exercise program, I don't want to set goals so high that you're not going to be able to meet them, because that does nothing for your mental health. That defeats your whole purpose. Okay, so you really want to set the goal for yourself. So maybe it's, I'm going to do something 10 minutes 7 days a week. Okay, so you figure out, because everybody knows their schedules and what they've got going on in their lives with their kids and everything, and so you got to figure out when you can carve things in and how much you can do. I would say if you haven't been physically active, I would start with 10 or 15 minutes. That's probably what I would recommend. I know that's probably not the exact answer you're looking for, Jamie, but it's really based on you. It's a really personal thing based on your lifestyle and your fitness level and what you can do. So. Well, does anybody have anything else? Right, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. I have been doing my nature and health series. Okay, so we do have our last class today, and that is it's all on winter. So that actually is not a class that's super focused on exercise. It's actually focused on other things to help you heal and get healthy through connections with nature. So I normally, I want people to go through all the four classes that I'm teaching, but today is winter specific. So if you guys wanted to join that, it's at 3:30 to 4:30. You just have to email me and I will send you the link for today. But some of it is based on this book that I did tell you about, this How to Winter book. So if you came on late, this is a book that I really would recommend for you. But we're just learning about other cultures and what other cultures do to stay happy and healthy. So, but yeah, you'd be welcome to join that if you wanted to. What low-cal drinks count for water? Like, yeah, tea is gonna count. Anything like if you have sparkling waters, really, even if you had a diet soda, that would definitely count. The only other thing we need to just be careful at is the caffeine, because the caffeine can make you lose fluid. So really anything that you're drinking, you guys, that can count towards your recommendations. Some things are just healthier than others. I'm never going to recommend soda. The only time I'm ever going to recommend soda, regular soda, is to treat a low blood sugar. Regular soda doesn't do anything for us. So, but really anything but teas, and that definitely counts. You guys have a lot of good questions and input. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Ryan is working out at 5:45 on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The workouts last 30 to 40 minutes, high intensity nature, but a focus on functional training. And your kids keep you active every day though. So, yep, those kiddos can do it. And I encourage you to get your kids out. Get your kids out in nature. Get them off their phones. Get them off their phones. We all need to get off our phones, myself included. We need to bring our kids back to appreciating nature and the things that are outside. I will tell you, one of the things that I've been doing with youth services is in November we played nature bingo. So I actually bought a bingo game that's nature bingo, and you had to go out and just find different things that were in nature. But the other day we actually made these little pine cone gnomes. So we just, Lindsay and I, my coworker, we had went out and collected pine cones before it snowed a lot, and so we dried them out and painted them, and so we actually made those in youth services. I did burn my fingers quite a bit from the hot glue gun, but it was still good. All right, anything else?
Guys, any last questions for Kathleen today? All right. If not, Pina Gigi. Thank you very much, Kathleen.
Yeah.
It was very good to learn about the little things that we can do inside our homes. And I thank you for joining us today. As a reminder, this session is being recorded and will be available on the Department of Health website and our Facebook page. We look forward to seeing you at our next session, which we will have 2 of our Ho-Chunk Nation police officers talk about winter safety and travel next week, Wednesday on the 17th. You can use the same link as you used today to join all future sessions. If you would like to add the recurring link to your calendar, please email Renelle and I, and we will forward you the invite. We want to hear from you, so we ask that you take a few minutes to complete our feedback survey that Renelle has put in the chat for you guys to utilize. Or we can also scan the QR code on your phone and use the link in the chat. You can also reach out to Renelle and I for any feedback by emails or phone calling too as well. But as always, we thank you guys for joining us again today. And thank you very much, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
I hope you guys have a beautiful Wednesday.